everybody. Chris Graham, Managing Editor of Tracker Magazine. This is day 5, or I'm actually recording this I think on day 6, but this is the day 5 video blog of my trip to Bowraville to research the murders of 3 young Aboriginal children in 1990-1991. I got home very late last night, about 1 AM from Bowraville, so I'm filing this early this morning. It was a very long day and, as expected, a very intense day. I met with the Greenup family on Evelyn Greenup's father's side. Evelyn, of course, was the 4-year-old Aboriginal girl. She was the second girl to go missing. She disappeared off the mission in October 1990. I met with her father's side of the family yesterday, and it was it's an extraordinary story, obviously, but one of the things that really dawned on me was how it would be to be an Aboriginal person trying to convince the New South Wales Police Service that your 4-year-old child has not gone walkabout, in the words of the police, and that she is missing. The thing that really came out in the interview with the family was the frustration that they had in trying to get the police to listen to them and to take them seriously. And it's not hard to imagine, if you've been around Aboriginal affairs at all, it's not hard to imagine police just dismissing it as another group of blacks who are really part of the problem, not the solution. So it was a very long meeting and a very productive one, and the people, the family members that I met with are amazing that they are able to still keep it together. After that, I went straight down to the mission, and then straight to a meeting with Evelyn Greenup's family on her mother's side, which are the Stadhams. And look, the thing that really dawned on me is the level of tragedy that in the lives of not just Bowraville Aboriginal people, but Aboriginal people generally. But in this specific case, I was dropped to the meeting by a couple of people who Evelyn was their cousin. So their cousin's been murdered, but on another side of their family, another cousin, Teresa Binge, was murdered. Teresa Binge's murder is quite well known in New South Wales. It happened quite a few years ago. They dropped me to a house where I interviewed the auntie of Evelyn Greenup. So her niece has been murdered, and the fiance of Michelle Stadham, who I was just interviewing, his nephew was murdered a couple of years ago, and that is a very Aboriginal experience. It's not something that white people, I think, can ever even fathom, because I'm 39 years of age. I don't know anybody who's been murdered, certainly not in my family, not even in my broader extended family, but it seems to be very standard for Aboriginal people to have experienced that. And the thing that really dawned on me is that when I've interviewed a lot of white families who've had people murdered, and I've interviewed a lot of Aboriginal families who've had people murdered, and the thing that white families say is that they can't believe that this happened to them. That's not something that Aboriginal families say. It's just not in their vocabulary, because Aboriginal families can believe this has happened to them, because it happens to them all the time. And I mean, that's an inescapable reality of being an Aboriginal person, not just in Bowraville, as I said, but in New South Wales more broadly. But all up, it was a very intense day, as you can imagine, but a very productive day. The other thing that really has emerged is the amazing work of one or two particular police officers. One especially, Gary Jubilant, who took over this case in the 90s. He's still trying to get a conviction, and both the groups were extraordinarily effusive with their praise about Gary Jubilant. So he's a police officer I hope to meet in Sydney when I get back in a few days. In terms of my plans for today, and I'll try and file a video blog tonight, I'm off to Coffs Harbour to interview the mother of Colleen Walker, also to catch up with the Northern Zone staff from the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council, publishers of Tracker Magazine. So all up, the feature is coming together well. I have realised the feature's much bigger and more complex than I thought, and I'm probably going to have to write the stories up as individual stories. So the story of Clinton, Speedy Giroux, the story of Evelyn Greenup, and the story of Colleen Walker really are all their own stories. They're not part of, I mean, there is one big feature about the police incompetence, but the individual stories of the Aboriginal kids, I think, warrant features in their own right. So I'm looking now at how I will break those stories into their own features and run them over a series of months, which is obviously quite a bit more work, but I don't really see any other way to write the feature. Anyway, that's something to look at for another day. I will try and file a video blog tonight and give you an update on how today's interviews went. Anyway, I'll talk to you then. Thanks.